So today we're mostly going to talk about mesocortical circuitry and function, and dopamine within the mesocortical circuit. And the reason that we're doing that is that today's discussion is really about motivation, procrastination, goal setting, and pursuit. It's very important to understand that neither dopamine nor the mesocortical circuit cares about any specific goal or pursuit. This is a circuit that uses dopamine in order to pursue anything. Now, of course, some people have a greater propensity to pursue things like work or goals in athletics or relationships or a combination of those. Other people, unfortunately, have a greater propensity to pursue things like drugs of abuse. What are drugs of abuse? Drugs of abuse tend to be drugs that increase levels of dopamine to the extent that other types of pursuits in life that are adaptive for us, like work, relationship, school, etc., become irrelevant. In fact, the definition of addiction that I use and that I believe really matches the neurobiology very well is that addiction is a progressive narrowing of the things that bring us pleasure. Healthy functioning of the mesocortical pathway, however, allows us to toggle or switch back and forth between different types of pursuits of all the sorts that I've mentioned earlier. So if we can understand how that mesocortical pathway works just a little bit, in particular, when dopamine is released and when it's not released, what dopamine does when it's released to our sense of motivation and drive, and if we can understand a little bit about how our recent dopamine history, that is, whether or not there is dopamine in our system already, dictates whether or not we are going to feel motivated in the next 5, 10, 15 minutes, hours, days, and weeks. That is all very easy to understand. I promise I'll explain it to you in a simple way. But I want you to get a circuit into your mind. I want you to envision that there are these neurons, little nerve cells in the VTA and nucleus accumbens. Those neurons make dopamine. They send their projections that we call axons, which are like little wires, and they can release dopamine into the prefrontal cortex. And now you already know, because you learned it a few minutes ago, that the prefrontal cortex then can ensure that certain behaviors take place and other behaviors do not take place. That shh or quieting that we talked about earlier.